So what if my feelings are hurt? I need to grow a thicker skin. The fact that I'm offended doesn't give me the right to try to stop other people from expressing their opinions. So what if my feelings are hurt? Is there a time when it is actually right to be offended, not by trivial things, but by really important things? Yes. I think we should be offended when children are denied a proper education. I think we should be offended by hymen reconstruction surgery. This trend has been condemned by critics as a sign of social regression driven by Islamic fundamentalists. Some countries have made hymen reconstruction operations illegal, I'm glad to say. Dr. Magdi Hend, consultant gynecologist, I'm reading this now from a newspaper, consultant gynecologist at the Regency Clinic, Harley Street, London, who started hymen reconstruction more than 18 years ago in the Middle East and the Gulf, said, in some cultures they like to see that the women will bleed on the wedding night. If the wife or bride is not a virgin, it is a big shame on the family. Well, I think that's disgusting. I'm offended by that. Most of his clients, Dr. Hend said, are in their teens or early 20s. I think we should be offended by female circumcision. This picture was taken in Africa, but it happens in Britain. I had a conversation with a schools inspector from London who told me that it's common that girls are frequently sent away to stay with an uncle in Bradford, which is a euphemism for being genitally mutilated. Now, it's sometimes said that humans need religion, even if it isn't true. They need it for comfort. They need it for consolation. Humanity's need for comfort is, of course, real, but isn't there something childish in the belief that the universe owes us comfort as of right? Isaac Asimov's remark about the infantilism of pseudoscience is just as applicable to religion. He said, inspect every piece of pseudoscience and you will find a security blanket, a thumb to suck, a skirt to hold. It's astonishing, too, how many people are unable to understand that to say X is comforting does not imply X is true. If I have a mortal cancer and the doctor tells me something comforting, like you haven't got cancer, that may comfort me, but it doesn't make it true. A related plaint concerns the need for a purpose in life. One Canadian critic said, the atheist may be right about God, who knows, but God or no God, it's clear that something in the human soul requires a belief that life has a purpose that transcends the material plane. One would think that a more rational than thou empiricist such as Dawkins would recognize this unchanging aspect of human nature. Does Dawkins really think this world would be a more humane place if we all looked to the God delusion instead of the Bible for truth and comfort? Actually, yes. Since you mention humane, yes, I do. But I must repeat yet again that the consolation content of a belief does not raise its truth value. I cannot, of course, deny the need for emotional comfort, and I cannot claim that the worldview adopted in the God delusion offers any more than moderate comfort to, for example, the bereaved. But if the comfort that religion seems to offer is founded on the highly implausible premise that we survive the death of our brains, for example, do you really want to defend it? In any case, I don't think I've ever met anyone at a funeral who dissents from the view that the non-religious parts, the eulogies, the favorite poems of the deceased or the favorite music, that the non-religious parts are actually more moving and more comforting than the prayers. I want to end with the opening lines of a previous book of mine, Unweaving the Rainbow, lines that I have long earmarked for my own funeral. We are going to die, and that makes us the lucky ones. Most people are never going to die because they're never going to be born. The potential people who could have been here in my place, but who will in fact never see the light of day, outnumber the sand grains of Sahara. Certainly those unborn ghosts include greater poets than Keats, scientists greater than Newton. We know this because the set of possible people allowed by our DNA so massively outnumbers the set of actual people. In the teeth of these stupefying odds, it is you and I, in our ordinariness, that are here. We privileged few who won the lottery of birth against all odds, how dare we whine at our inevitable return to that prior state from which the vast majority have never stirred? Thank you very much. Well, we have microphones, where? There? That's because could we have the house lights up now, so I can see the audience? Thank you. How many microphones are there? There's one here. Okay. Sometimes on these occasions, when you've got microphones here, it makes sense if there are people who want to ask questions, if they just line up behind the microphones, because then we don't have to waste time. Would that be a good idea? Yeah. So, if anybody does have a question and would like to come forward to one of the 3 microphones here, there's probably one up in the balcony, is there? Yes, please, sir.
Do you think a world without religion would be a world of peace? And isn't that the naturalistic fantasy that Daniel Dennett describes, as you can't derive what should from what is?
I don't necessarily think that a world without religion would be a world of peace. You've only got to look at the ghastly history of the 20th century, where the 2 major wars, the First World War and the Second World War, were not motivated by religion. So no, I don't think so. And even if I did, that wouldn't, of course, bear upon the truth of religion. Suppose that the exact opposite were true, suppose that actually religion was a great force for peace in the world. It clearly isn't that. I mean, nobody could seriously claim that. But even if religion was a force for peace in the world, it would be a fallacy to say that, therefore, religious beliefs are true. But I'm not claiming that a world without religion would be a world of peace, no. The testimony of the First World War and the Second World War eloquently shows that not to be true.
When you look at where Islam is now, and fanatics and the like, and you look at Christianity 500 years ago, which is broadly comparable, do you not think there should be an idea that we just let it go? Christianity drifted away. It's not the force it was then. Islam might be going the same way. Are you not worried that in some way you are creating a backlash, and those people outside are happy to say, Dawkins, right, he's our enemy, and the rise of religion starts again from there?
You seem to be making 2 rather